Hi everybody. Today I feel like the Lord was telling me to talk about the timing of the Lord, and through this I'm going to share two specific testimonies. And I'm a prophet, so at the end I know that there is a prophetic word for someone, so just watch to the end because it could be for you. But before then, I just want to get into the testimonies that actually speak about God's timing. And first, it's May now, 2022. But last year in May, I gave a prophetic word to my pastor, Jackie, at church, and it was for her friends, and they live somewhere else. I've never met them, but I gave this prophetic word. And in a prophetic word, I do randomly say there's a delay on this. And she tried to send it to him through all these different ways, and she just couldn't, and it went out of her mind. And then this month, May, she heard her husband over a phone call to this couple who the prophetic word was for. And she heard something that jogged her memory about the prophetic word I gave 12 months ago. And it just come back to her mind, and she was just so like, oh, Glenda gave that prophetic word. And so she managed then to send it to him. And that was the point where God was saying, I want to speak about the timing to my people. And he took me to Joseph when I heard about it, where the cupbearer didn't remember Joseph for 2 years. And what it was, the cupbearer, if you read in Genesis 40 and 41, it's about Joseph, and it's about the dreams of the cupbearer and the baker, and how Joseph interpreted it to them, and what he said did come to pass. And he asked the cupbearer to remember him when he got back to Pharaoh. Now the cupbearer didn't remember him for 2 years. Now some people are like thinking, but God was showing me in this incident I had with this couple only getting it a year after, that it was the right timing of the Lord. Because if the cupbearer told Pharaoh about Joseph 2 years before, Pharaoh would have not listened. But at that point, Pharaoh had a dream, and he needed someone to interpret it for him. And when he remembered, it was at the right timing. And he told him about Joseph when he met him in the prison. And Joseph had the opportunity to come to Pharaoh. And so many things happened for Joseph from that point. Prophetic words come to pass in his life that God has spoken to him many years before that. And like I said, you can read about that in Genesis 40 to 41, and it's just wonderful how God held this prophetic word for this couple for a year. But what they said to me, if they received it a year ago, they wouldn't have received it because it made no sense to them. But when they received it, it made all sense to them, and God touched them. And I just want you to be encouraged that you're not out of the timeline of God. He's in perfect time. He knows when people need to hear, when people need to see you, when things need to go forth in your life. And just not to be weary, to be in hope and faith for the things that God speaks over your life, because I just find it so encouraging for us to know there is a timing. And we do get frustrated. I have many times, and cried out to the Lord with frustration of things just not coming as I thought they should, and we all fall to that along the way. But just be encouraged that He's not too late. It'll never be too late. And even Jesus himself at the wedding of Cana, and his mum comes to him and says, help them when they run out of wine. And he said, yet my time hasn't come. See, Jesus even had a timing before he moved, so we all have to be rest assured that a timing will come for us to come to the fruition of what he wants us to do. And it's beautiful, and we just need to enjoy the journey as we get there. Joseph was told of what his calling was and how he would be used in a dream years before, but God didn't tell him the middle bit. God didn't tell him, being rejected by his brothers. He didn't tell him about the pit, the prison, and all sorts of things that happened to Joseph. But at the same time, he always stayed faithful. He always believed, and God brought him to that, what he showed him all them years before. See, God sees outside time. We get bound by time, but we must be encouraged to keep on going forth and trust and believe and stay in home and know that he'll bring it to pass. See, he'll never bring anything to fruition if we're not ready to carry it. Sometimes we think we're ready, but then, of course, as we go a little bit further with him, of course, we're not, and we realise, and peace will come upon us and on you too. And it takes me to the next testimony, which was my husband recently at work, actually the same month, May this year. Every morning he says a prayer to the Lord, protect me Lord and protect my family. And that's the prayer he prays all the time. And God has answered that prayer many times before, but he did this month, which was in a wonderful way. He was at work, and he's a welder, and he works with metal obviously, and he had a big bundle of metal that had to be brought into his bay, and it had to come over the curtain. So they use like tight ropes, and they tie it up on the forklift to get it into the bay. So as he's under it, hold of it like this, under it, he's leading it into the bay, and he hears a snap, a noise. But he didn't instantly think, I'm in danger. He didn't even think that, actually. It didn't even enter his head. And he looks up to think, what is that? And then before he knew it, he was 3 meters away from this falling metal crashing to the ground. He was able to see it hit the floor. He didn't move. He had no urgency in himself to move. And we believe an angel moved him out of this metal falling upon him. Now, the forklift driver heard the snap and turned around to hear what was going on, looking at the metal. And then within an instant, as quick as his eye could blink, Simon was 3 meters away, and he couldn't make sense of it. How did he get there? 2 other guys, work colleagues, was having a brew, and they heard the snap again, looking that way of what it was. And they saw my husband's hands under this bundle of metal, holding it up and leading it in. And as the snap, they saw his arms bow under the metal. As they dropped their brews and rush outside the curtains, they said to him, how did you get there? And Simon, in like kind of not, it was too, everything was happening so quickly, like he was like, I don't know. But it only had to be an angel. That prayer God answered. He was on time. He'll never be too late to save those who are in him, who trust him, and just believe in the supernatural. Believe that he is able to do all things at all time. And I was so excited when my husband told us about this. I felt so encouraged how protected we are. Even when we don't even know we're in danger, we are still protected by the Lord. So I just want to encourage you, just focus on him, on Jesus. Not on so much the prophecy, but believe, declare and decree, and stand upon what the Lord shows you. And never let them drop to the floor because of timing. He'll never be too late to bring to pass in your life what he has called you for. At a time as this, he is answering so clearly to his people. Do not be weary. Stand and know who I am, because he's going to do the impossible in the nations, and we are going to be amazed. We're going to see signs, wonders, miracles, and we already are. But there's so much coming for the body of Christ. We're in a new hour, and he is going to do a new thing through his body. And that calling he has called you for, he will bring you to that point of birthing it. He really will. So as I said before, stay till the end, because I have a prophetic word. I felt like the Lord said to me that a teacher will be watching. And I don't mean that you had been a teacher, you are now a teacher. And you have had so many pressures come against you at this time to stand in the truth and stand around people who even have mocked you for believing. And the Lord said, thank you for being encouraged to stand on the truth. You had courage to stand on the truth. And the Lord said, you are coming into a place of promise, into the place of the promised land. And I just feel to say, your heart be healed and rise now, because the time now for you to move into your ministry, into your calling is now. And I see on your door there's a 43 on your front door. And the Lord says, you know I am speaking to you. And there is going to be some place of just, you're going to have promotion come around you. And I don't feel like it's in the school system. I feel like it's in the church. That you're going to be revealed for who you are as a time as this. Like an Esther moment, that God will just peel it back and say, this is my daughter and this is who she is. And you are going to go forth and you are going to fulfill what the Lord has been speaking to you in the secret place. So be encouraged by that. And I do feel like the name Emily is not yours, but very, very, like, that name means so much to you in your life. It's a close female in your life. So I hope that reassures you that the Lord is for you, he is not against you, and he is bringing to pass what he has shown you for years now. You're about to move forth into that. And I slightly mentioned about the wedding of Cana before, and that's what I feel like I will be speaking on my next video. I'm going to be doing a video once a week for now until the Lord asks me to do more, and it will be coming out on Sundays every week. So I hope that you'll tune in next week for more, to hear what I have on the wedding at Cana, but also for prophetic words and also encouragement of the testimonies of the Lord. Because I know everywhere I go, I hear the goodness of the Lord moving on people's behalf. Signs, wonders, miracles are happening. I'm seeing people healed. I'm seeing the Lord move in the nations. So be reassured, I'll be sharing great testimonies on here. And in time, I will be inviting people on to come and share too. So look out for that. Until next week, be blessed. And remember, the Lord loves you and he has a purpose for your life. Bye.